Ooh, we about to get it poppin'. Ooh, we about to get it poppin'. Ooh, now take it to the floor. I know you like it, so tell the DJ keep it rockin' like. Ooh, here we go. I know you heard me. In a school gave me the dust soon as they got word of me.
Hey, what's going on? It's your girl DC. If I don't sound too enthusiastic or anything like that, I'm a little under the weather today. That's why I'm doing my video from my wonderful bed. But this is in response to Wes from Adopted Connections, I versus Me. I versus me. I guess that's when a lot of people tend to tell me that I think everyone is out to do me something, or the world is against me. I think everyone's against me because I tend to focus on myself. I tend to do the things that I need to do to get myself in a better place, in a better position, to have myself a little more comfortable, to be in a better means of state of mind. I'm blessed and fortunate to be and to have really good friends who I've had for some over a decade, some almost a decade, and I can talk to them about any and everything going on in my life because they are there for me. They understand. They've watched me grow and evolve. We get into heated discussions about everything, including life, and I guess the biggest thing for them to handle, as far as I was concerned, that I thought was going to meet a lot of skepticism, a lot of problems, is last year when I came out and said that I was bisexual, which to some of them it wasn't a surprise, even though I never exhibited the actions or the behaviors of it. But that's just to show how accepting they are of me. They're accepting of me and the things that I do. And then they're like, oh, we always knew that about you. I'm like, how could you, when I never said anything? But I don't necessarily go into a mentality of I got to do what I got to do for me, to hell with what anybody else says, until I get around my family. My family is very judgmental and they're very critical about everything that goes on. I was raised in a traditional family by traditional parents. My father's biggest dreams for his daughters are to be married and have children, for them to be married and have kids, and those are some of my dreams too. But now that I'm more comfortable in my skin and I exhibit myself to be happy and content, I get a lot of playback from it because I handle myself in the way that I want to be, that I want other people. I handle other people the way other people I feel want. Let me start that over. I handle people the way I want to be handled. I deal with them the way I want to be dealt with. And a lot of people are very closed-minded to a lot of issues in the world. They seem to say that you shouldn't be concerned or you shouldn't care about this or that. It shouldn't be a big issue to you because it's not a big issue to them. That's when that understanding part comes in. When you can have a heated discussion with somebody for hours and hours at a time, and it seems like your point isn't coming across to them. I've been in that situation. And my two options in those situations are to either let them speak their mind, and I concede. I give up to be like, you know what, you're not understanding where I'm coming from, but I see your point, which most of the time I do see their point. But in the back of my mind, I'm going, what did what you just said have to do with what I'm telling you? So I tend to let it go. I tend to leave it alone, and I let them say what they have to say, and then I end the conversation. But if I see they're getting it and they just need a little more insight, I give that insight. If they are if they just are in mental left field about the conversation, I tend to be like, okay, I'm gonna talk to you later, because I do have some friends, well, a few friends, who no matter what you tell them, no matter how you explain yourself, they see their point of view and only their point of view, and they're listening. And I'm real cautious in certain people that I talk to, where I wonder if they're listening to absorb the information, to process it for us to continue the conversation, or if they're listening to me and processing that information so that it can be used in the form of gossip. So I'm just in the whole thing of having to be very careful with myself. Not, and then half the time I really don't care what anybody thinks about what I do or what I say, because it's my life and I live. I'd rather it also to be me, I versus me, than me against the world, because the world is a harsh ass place. Some people can't handle certain people being a certain way, especially people who know that men were always a big part of my life, or a big issue. Not really a big part of my life, but I always had a boyfriend. I always had a man. I always had male friends. I always had other people around me, males, that if I wasn't dating or had dated at one point, that I was really close to. And then for me to show up and say, oh, this is my girlfriend, this is my wife, this is my woman, it fucks them up for a minute. And some of them still fucks them up for a minute. Not so much my friends, but my family. And then most of my family is really accepting of the situation, because they have no choice but to be. Because you're going to love me for who I am regardless. It doesn't matter who I'm with or who I love. If you love me, then my sexual orientation is the least of your problems as far as accepting me. That, and it's not like being a gay or a bisexual person in my family is not new. It's been around for a long time. But I'm more comfortable in being me, and enjoying myself in my spirit and in the skin that I'm in. And the only things that stress me out are the situations that I can control, because I'm not going to let anyone else's outside influence stress me to the point to where I'm just like, I can't believe this person did that to me. You go through disbelief when certain people say certain things. I can't believe so-and-so said this. I can't believe she did this to me. I can't believe they would actually go that far. But your life is your situation to control. You do you. You handle you. I'm coming up on 7.5 minutes, so I'm just going to make this really, really short and simple as of this point. Me being me is the happiest I can be. And if it's me against the world, then it's me against the world, but the world comes second to me. I am my first priority. And I think everyone should be that way. You should be your first priority regardless to who you have in your life, whether it's a spouse, a significant other, your kids. And even if kids come first. But you have to have yourself in order to handle anything that your kids may need. You have to be in a better position to handle things for your children or your significant other or your spouse. Because how can you be support to someone else when you can't support yourself? But if you choose, it's up to you to choose how you live. And I understood completely what you were saying, Wes. I know this was kind of long, but I had a lot to get off my mind, and you gave me something to think about. Love you much, Wes. Love Adopted Connection. As you already know, I'm going to get back to laying down in this bed. I am tired. Still not feeling too hot. So you take care, sweetie, and love you much. Peace, you too.